I guess, topic like video. When celebrities self-destruct.
You know, there's nothing quite like a celebrity controversy to make you chuckle or send you reeling.
Oh, let me go put this on my, yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on. Hold up. Let me go charge my phone real quick. Sorry, guys. I'm back. I was charging my phone.
But it's always fun to point and laugh at the misfortunes of people who have it coming. Whether it's a musician or Hollywood star, both are prone to humiliating themselves, often collapsing under the weight of their own hubris because they think they're too big to fail, or worse than most often, thinking they're above everyone else. That description applies to a lot of celebrities in today's world who are particularly good at making an ass of themselves. Who remembers the slap heard around the world?
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth!
Cuck Smith aside, there's no one at the moment quite like the four we're going to discuss in this video.
We all remember
Originally,
that
this was
slap.
going
We
to be
all
about
remember that
celebrities who
slap.
never seem to pay the piper for their bullshit. Even when doing something wrong, they came out on the other side cleaner than a politician's stock portfolio. But since then, more than half the people I covered completely imploded, creating major dents in their careers because they can't seem to get out of their own way. Some will recover, some are to be determined, but either way, they're not escaping me. From political folly to pissing in jars, we'll touch on all kinds of ways you can set back a career. And who better to kick this off than the queen of cringe herself, Rachel Zegler? Because you can't have a celebrities who get in their own way video without including her. Yes, Hollywood's latest cautionary tale of yikes, Zegler is a dumpster fire of controversy.
No.
If there ever was an up-and-coming star who seemed absolutely determined to trip all over her own ego at every possible turn, it's her. And what a spectacular implosion it's been. The warning signs were there from the beginning. After she starred in Spielberg's West Side Story remake, Zegler made waves. Not for her acting, not for her singing, but for the sheer smugness she exuded while promoting Shazam! Fury of the Gods. A film she, as you can imagine, actually starred in. Most actors, even if they know they're in a train wreck, will at least put on the facade of enthusiasm. Maybe they'll throw in
Like
some
the Madam
rehearsed
Web
lines
actor,
about how the cast
for the
was
most
great,
part,
or
kinda.
how it was an amazing experience because, you know, basic professionalism. But not Rachel Zegler. No. Instead, she practically oozed condescension toward the entire production, treating it like some embarrassing community theater gig she was forced into. She openly admitted she took the role for the paycheck, as if starring in a DC superhero movie was some lowly peasant work beneath her Broadway-level magnificence. You could practically hear the collective eye roll of moviegoers everywhere, and shocker, the movie flopped. Not that it needed her shitty attitude to sink it, but her complete lack of enthusiasm certainly didn't help. Now, this could have been a one-off, a simple case of a newbie actress not understanding the basics of PR, but oh no, this was just the appetizer. Because when it came time to promote her next major film, Snow White, she decided to double down on insufferability.
Bro, they
Where do
delayed
we
that
even
film
begin
so
with
hard
this?
because of her.
Let's start with the fact that Disney handed her the lead role in a remake of one of the most beloved animated films of all time. They didn't pick a seasoned pro, they didn't pick an actress with a strong built-in fan base. They picked Rachel Zegler, whose biggest credit up to that point was the West Side Story remake, a film that bombed so hard at the box office it made Cats look like a blockbuster. But maybe thinking she was the next it girl, they picked her. So how does she respond? By immediately talking shit about the original film. You know, the one that made her entire opportunity possible. She sat down in interviews and made it abundantly clear that she had absolutely zero respect for Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. According to Zegler, the original film was weird, and the new version would be correcting all of that outdated nonsense. And what exactly needed correcting, you might ask? Oh, well, apparently the entire concept of the story itself. She openly mocked the idea of Snow White finding love, basically laughing in the face of the original film's themes and values. The prince? Fuck him. In fact, she suggested he might be cut out of the movie entirely. Yep, a Snow White movie without the prince.
So weird.
Because why not completely erase a key character from the story you're remaking? At this point, it wasn't just casual Disney fans side-eyeing her, it was full-scale outrage. People who grew up on the original Snow White weren't just upset at the changes, they were, upset with her. And why wouldn't they be? Instead of treating this project like a cherished legacy she was honored to be a part of, she acted like some self-righteous editor correcting history. It was condescending, it was dismissive, and it was an absolute PR nightmare for Disney. Whoever was running that department was probably going full-scale Seymour Hoffman.
Shut up! Shut the fuck suck. All right.
The backlash got so bad that Disney basically put Zegler on a corporate-mandated PR re-education tour. Gone were the smug remarks. Gone was the feminist diatribe about how Snow White didn't need a man. Suddenly, she was talking about how much she respected the original film, how she loved the 1937 classic, and how this remake was all about honoring that legacy. Yeah, sure, Rachel, we definitely believe you. But the damage was already done. People weren't buying the forced sincerity, the bullshit. Disney even pushed back the release date of the movie, which, let's be real, had everything to do with how badly this whole thing was going.
I'm still wondering like if it's gonna be successful or not.
Reasons, but you know,
because even with all the controversy, it's still a Disney property, right? It still has a big chance of being successful, guys. Maybe not as big, like making $1 billion in the box office. I still believe it can still be successful. Look at Mufasa; it made money. It made a lot of money because it has the Disney brand. It still has weight.
Come on.
Free Tax USA.
Really?
Where federal filing is always free with no games or pricing gimmicks. Because choosing...
They knew this film was a controversy factory and they needed time to figure out how to salvage it. And speaking of controversy, let's talk about the behind-the-scenes drama. If rumors are to be believed, and let's be honest, these rumors have way too much smoke for there to be no fire, Zegler wasn't just causing problems with audiences, she was causing problems on set, specifically with co-star Gal Gadot. Now, Gadot is no stranger to playing strong female leads, but here's the difference. She actually manages to do it without alienating half the planet. And apparently, this caused a lot of friction between her and Zegler. Why?
What?
Because Zegler's non-stop political soapboxing allegedly became an issue behind the scenes. According to leaks, there were constant tensions between the two actresses, with clashes stemming from Zegler's, let's call them, strong opinions. Disney didn't want this getting out, obviously, but word spreads fast. It was clear that working with her wasn't exactly a dream job. But wait, there's more. Because apparently tanking 2 major movies wasn't enough, Zegler then decided to throw gasoline on the fire by jumping headfirst into the political sphere. Now, actors voicing political opinions isn't anything new, but there's a difference between having an opinion and actively provoking half the country. Zegler made inflammatory comments about Trump supporters, which shockingly, you know, didn't go over well. Not only did it alienate a massive chunk of potential
I'm gonna be, like I said before, guys, if you're a content creator and you're nothing to do with anything with politics, shut the fuck up. Just shut up. You know what I mean? Like, there's nobody, like, why you're putting your, because like here's the thing, when you're putting out a product, especially like a movie, you don't want to alienate anybody. You want to get the most people to go to your movie, right? You don't want to alienate anybody who supports a certain politician, right, or president, right? You want to get everybody in the seats for the movie. You got to be unbiased as possible, because it's your actor, professional, and then it's your personal life. Your personal life comes second, third, last, whatever. Your professional life comes first, because that's the one you put in the public. That's what people see in the public. So her saying that was really fucking stupid. Whether you hate him or not, whatever, I don't give a shit. Like, it is so stupid, because now people that want to watch your film, they're like, yo, I'm a dumb Trumper, what people call it. I don't know what they call it. Whatever. I'm a dumb Trump supporter. Oh, I'm not going to watch your movie. Fuck you then. You know what I mean? Fuck me, fuck you then. You know, that kind of thing.
Potential moviegoers, but it also put Disney in yet another uncomfortable position. The last thing they needed was another politically charged controversy, but Zegler couldn't help herself. At this point, Disney had to be sweating bullets. They had spent millions trying to turn her into a household name,
by the way, if the film was not being made.
Alienate huge portions of their audience at every opportunity. In fact, she had every opportunity to become Hollywood's next big thing. She had major studios backing her, a huge platform, and more opportunities than most actors could ever dream of. And yet, at every turn, she seemed determined to make herself unlikable. Whether it was belittling her own projects, mocking beloved classics, clashing with co-stars, or needlessly wading into political warfare, she managed to do what few actors can, completely torpedo her own momentum. Not bad for a celebrity who's never starred in a movie that made money. The best she could do was the Hunger Games film, which broke even. Will she bounce back? Maybe. Hollywood has a short memory. But as it stands right now, Rachel Zegler isn't a rising star, she's a cautionary tale in real time. And watching it unfold, well, it's been more entertaining than any of the movies she starred in. Before we move on to our next hilarious disaster, a quick word about the sponsor of this video. And indeed, I've timestamped this motherfucker so you don't have to watch it. But, you know, it's appreciated. Your icon on the sidebar.
Oh man, are you guys thinking of the 59, the 5000 series, by the way?
You can even detach the player so you can control your music in other programs. And like black magic, their video. Let's talk about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. The
Oh
man,
my
the
God, I
myth,
hate that
the
guy.
living motivational
Not a big
poster
fan.
that just won't shut up. Once upon a time, he was
The
a
rest of them
wrestling
are
golden
fan.
boy, a Hollywood darling, and the kind of action hero
actor or
Hollywood
whatever,
execs dreamed of
very
printing onto
annoying.
overpriced popcorn buckets. But lately, his career has taken a nosedive so severe you'd think he was intentionally aiming for rock bottom. Badum. You see, The Rock has a bit of a problem. Well, multiple problems, actually. He can't stop lying about the dumbest, most pointless shit imaginable. He's become a liability on movie sets, and when all else fails, he runs back to the WWE to desperately cling to relevance, only to somehow screw that up too. Oh, and then there's the minor detail of him being named in a $3 billion kidnapping lawsuit. I mean, don't worry, it got
Yeah,
dismissed,
nobody knows
but not
about that.
before making headlines so ridiculous they sounded AI generated. Let's break it down and take a long, excruciating look at how Dwayne Johnson went from Hollywood's most bankable star to a walking, talking cringe factory with a declining box office draw. First, the most silly shit I've ever heard.
He just
If you're
promotes any
going to
product at
lie,
this point
at
too,
least
as well.
make it count. Say you've never cheated on a diet when you've clearly been inhaling entire cheat meals that could feed a family of 4. But lying about whether or not you've been to a fast food restaurant, that's a new level of pointless deception. In December 2023, Johnson proudly proclaimed on social media that he was trying In-N-Out Burger for the first time in his life. A big dramatic post and over-the-top review. Classic Rock social media. But unfortunately for him, the internet never forgets. Fans immediately called him out, digging up past footage of him at the exact same restaurant, claiming it was his first time then, too. So what did The Rock do? Did he own up to the bullshit?
No,
Of
he
course
said,
not.
"Oh no,
He
I
doubled
got that
down,
was for my
offering some
family and
convoluted
friends or
nonsense
something like
about how
that."
the first time he went was for his friends,
Yeah,
and this
there you
was the
go.
first time he actually ate it himself. Because obviously, when you walk into a burger joint and you're The Rock, you order food for everyone but yourself. That totally makes sense. At this point, Johnson's brand is built on inspirational platitudes and exaggerated stories, but lying about something so minuscule, it just screams insecurity. It's as if he's so addicted to the idea of being larger than life that he can't just admit he's done mundane human things like go to a fast food restaurant more than once. Next, what's worse than an action star who can't act? An action star who actively disrupts production because he thinks normal human activities, like using a bathroom, are beneath him. During the filming of Red One,
So
reports
weird.
started circulating that Johnson had a reputation for showing up hours late, forcing entire crews to sit around twiddling their thumbs, all while bleeding millions of dollars in production costs. The guy thinks he's doing everyone a favor just by showing up, as if the industry couldn't function without him. And we wonder how that movie had such a huge budget. And when he was on set, he apparently decided that bathroom breaks were, for peasants, opting instead to piss in bottles so he wouldn't have to leave the set. Let that sink in.
This may be the last ad you see. With Pi AdBlock, visit your favorite websites and watch ads disappear. However, you can also
He pissed in bottles. A multimillionaire, one of the highest paid actors in Hollywood, couldn't be bothered to take 2 minutes to use a restroom. So instead, he urinated in bottles and had other people deal with it. He even admitted it, completely unfazed, as if forcing crew members to dispose of his urine was just another example of his legendary work ethic. No, dude, that's not dedication. That's just fucking gross. Now, just when you think The Rock's public image couldn't get any weirder, enter the $3 billion kidnapping lawsuit. Yes, in 2023, Johnson was named in a lawsuit alleging that he was part of a massive kidnapping conspiracy. The plaintiff, former WWE wrestler Tranesha Ruckaconn Biggers, accused him, along with other big names like the FBI
shit, I
and the
forgot
state
about
of
this
Texas,
one.
of being involved in some kind of elaborate, sinister plot. Yes, the FBI itself and the
Totally
state of
forgot
fucking
about that.
Texas. Now, obviously, the lawsuit had about as much credibility as Johnson's cheat meal portions being modest. It was thrown out almost immediately, but not before it made headlines. And let's
Yeah, I
be
forgot
real,
all
being
about
named
that.
in a lawsuit for something that insane, even if it's baseless, is not a good look. But as The Rock would say, finally! What does a washed-up movie star do when Hollywood starts catching on to his bullshit? He runs back to his old stomping grounds, the
WWE.
WWE. But here's the thing, Johnson's return in 2024 wasn't some triumphant homecoming, it was almost a disaster. He didn't just return, he shoved his way into the main event scene, screwing over the actual fan favorite, Cody Rhodes, in the process. Rhodes was set to finish his long, emotional storyline against Roman Reigns, but then The Rock decided he wanted to be in the spotlight instead, forcing a rewrite of WWE's biggest event of the year. And man, fans were fucking pissed. kissed. The backlash was so extreme that WWE had to pivot and put Cody back in the spot where he was supposed to be.
Yeah,
in the
that
first place.
they bullshit
And of
away.
course, The Rock claimed
like,
it was his
all
plan
planned
all along, because nothing screams credibility like acting like you're
Yeah,
playing
it was
40
like, it was my
chess when
plan
you're
all
actually
along,
just
by the way.
backpedaling like crazy. But if we're really looking for the final nail in the coffin of Johnson's Hollywood dominance, look no further than Black Adam. This was supposed to be his grand entrance into the DC universe, a film so powerful that it would reshape the entire franchise around him. He positioned himself as the main attraction, hyped up Henry Cavill's return as Superman, and essentially tried to hijack the DCEU. And then it flopped. It fucking flopped hard, man. Not only did Black Adam fail to break even, but its critical reception was brutal. And rather than admit defeat, Johnson resorted to the petty.
Bro, the whole thing, like, it could have been so much better if they just did Black Adam with Shazam. But no, he had to make his own film first. No, should have been Black Adam, or Shazam versus Black Adam losing, and then the next film, his redemption arc of like, oh, this character lost, and why did he lose, and what's his backstory, etc. They could easily done the Black Adam solo film after that. That would have been so much better.
Most
For a story
desperate
arc
PR
and everything.
tactics imaginable,
Like, I
claiming
don't
the movie
understand.
was actually a success if you look at it from the right angle, aka ignore all the actual numbers. Shortly after, DC scrapped its entire cinematic universe, meaning Johnson's self-proclaimed power shift was actually just the final death rattle of a failing franchise. And at this point, The Rock isn't just a celebrity in decline, he's a cautionary tale, just like Rachel Zegler, a once beloved superstar who overplayed his hand, alienated fans, and now has to resort to pathetic, transparent PR moves just to stay relevant. And with each cringe-inducing lie, embarrassing film flop, and WWE blunder, Johnson's descent into Hollywood irrelevance only gets funnier. Because, let's be honest, there's something deeply satisfying about watching a brand so carefully manufactured start to fall apart at the seams. And now, we come to Lizzo. Lizzo.
Wait,
The
what?
woman who
Lizzo
built an
hated?
empire out of
Oh,
body
right.
positivity, self-love, and aggressive flute
Yeah,
solos,
wasn't there like a
only to watch
lawsuit
it
or
all
something?
collapse under the weight of her own hypocrisy. What started as an inspiration... I see what I did there. What started as an inspirational rags to riches story of a plus-sized pop icon taking on the music industry quickly spiraled into a cautionary tale about ego, delusion, and, well, literal lawsuits. See, once upon a time, Lizzo was the golden child of the entertainment industry. She was that rare Hollywood phenomenon who managed to unite feminists, mainstream pop fans, and people who pretend to like funk music for the sake of appearing cultured. Her message was all about confidence, empowerment, and shaming anyone who dared to suggest that maybe, just maybe,
she is
health
losing
is
weight
still
now.
a thing that
It's good for
matters.
her.
But hey, she played the flute while twerking, and that was apparently enough to secure her a seat at the cultural elite's table. And then, much like the tragic heroes before her, Lizzo discovered the one thing that destroys all modern celebrities, believing their own hype. Because nothing says body positivity like allegedly forcing your backup dancers into weight loss shaming rituals, while shoving bananas where bananas should never go. If you somehow missed the lawsuit that shattered Lizzo's public image faster than her own songs leave the charts these days, let's take a stroll down memory lane. In 2023, multiple former dancers sued Lizzo for workplace harassment.
That's why, by the way, she's doing her redemption arc right now. And the redemption arc is her losing extremely a lot of weight. I'm telling you, once she loses all that weight that she has, like she already has lost a lot of weight. That's gonna be her redemption arc. Everybody's not gonna care about her past losses. Like, what? No, I see her right now.
Claiming
Like,
she created a
she's a
toxic
different
environment
person.
filled with fat shaming, sexual coercion, and straight up psychological torment. Yes, you heard that right. The queen of self-love, the champion of all bodies, was allegedly bullying her own employees for not fitting her secret
This is
weight
why I don't
standards,
believe
which I have to admit
people who
is
are
an incredible
positive.
plot twist. Didn't see that coming. Imagine signing up to dance for a woman whose entire brand is built on the idea that weight doesn't define you, only to be told that, actually, it does, but only if you're not her. Of course, Lizzo did what all celebrities do when caught in a scandal. She denied everything, cried about being devastated by the accusations, and then took a long social media break that nobody asked for. Because in Hollywood, nothing screams I'm totally innocent like disappearing from public life the second people start asking for receipts. And, you know, while we're at it, let's talk about Lizzo's ever-growing victim complex.
This was me, struggling to keep up with posting consistently on YouTube and getting less views than normal, until I found Spotter Studio. Spotter Studio is an AI software built to help YouTubers come up with video ideas, titles, and thumbnails based
Oh
on data
my
that
God.
leads to better performance.
Because if there's one thing modern celebrities love more than attention, it's pretending they're the real victims in every situation. Case in point, after months of backlash, Lizzo finally returned with a now iconic, self-pitying Instagram post where she dramatically declared she was quitting the industry. The reasoning? People were just too mean to her. That's right, folks. This multi-millionaire pop star, whose entire career was built on shaming people for daring to have an opinion, simply couldn't take it when the tables were turned. What's truly astonishing is that Lizzo was handed everything. The media adored her, award shows threw trophies at her feet, and every corporation on the planet treated her like their personal mascot for body positivity. She was a walking, talking,
I'm telling you, she's gonna make a
brand,
comeback.
But instead of staying in her lane and enjoying the ride, she did what so many celebrities do. She thought she was untouchable. She forgot that the public only tolerates hypocrisy for so long before they start sharpening their pitchforks. The funniest part? Lizzo's downfall wasn't even a slow burn. It was an implosion. One day she was America's sweetheart. The next she was an alleged workplace tyrant who made Ellen DeGeneres look like a saint. And now she's stuck in that weird celebrity limbo where she's too canceled for mainstream success, but not quite disgraced enough to disappear entirely. Which means we get to enjoy the inevitable Lizzo redemption arc, which is happening right now with her weight loss, which in itself is hypocritical as hell, but hey, good for her. Maybe next she'll get Oprah out of retirement for an interview, a fake charity initiative, and a desperate attempt to convince us that she's learned and grown from her mistakes.
She's in a redemption
Did I hit all
arc.
the boxes? But back to reality, let's be real. Lizzo's biggest mistake was thinking she was the exception to the rule. She built an empire on the idea that she was different, that she was some revolutionary force who could rewrite the rules of celebrity culture. But at the end of the day, she was just another self-absorbed pop star who flew too close to the sun. And now she's learning the hard way that no amount of Grammy Awards or virtue signaling can save you when the public decides they're done. So what's next for Lizzo? Well, she can either go full exile and disappear like a disgraced Roman senator, or she can take the more predictable route and try to claw her way back into the industry with the help of some very expensive PR firms. My money's on the latter, because if there's one thing celebrities never do, it's actually leave when they say they will. Either way, one thing's for sure, Lizzo's self-destruction wasn't just predictable, it was inevitable. Because in the end, no amount of inspirational Instagram captions or teary-eyed apologies can erase the fact that she did this to herself. And now, like so many before her, she gets to learn the ultimate Hollywood lesson. You can only play the victim for so long before people stop buying it. And now we arrive at Jared Leto, a man who somehow manages to be both an Oscar-winning actor and the human embodiment of a red flag. A guy whose entire career feels like a choose-your-own-adventure book.
I'm sorry, this guy does cringe.
Every ending is just him being insufferable in a slightly different way.
One of the worst bands ever,
to his
too.
alleged extracurricular activities that seem more suited to a Netflix true crime documentary than a Hollywood career, Leto's journey through fame is what happens when unchecked ego meets zero consequences. If you've ever wondered what would happen if an actor took method acting way too seriously without having the talent to back it up, congratulations, you just described Jared Leto's career. It all started out semi-normal. Lead singer of a mediocre rock band, an occasional moody role here and there, and a strong commitment to looking like he bathes exclusively in patchouli oil. But then Dallas Buyers Club happened and he won an Oscar. And suddenly, Jared Leto got in his head that he was Daniel Day-Lewis. Spoiler alert, he is not Daniel Day-Lewis. First off, take Suicide Squad, where Leto's idea of getting into character as the Joker involved harassing his co-stars like a guy who just discovered Reddit's worst corners. Stories emerged of him sending the cast dead pigs, used condoms, and other bodily fluid-related gifts that nobody asked for, which honestly feels less like method acting and more like something that should be on an FBI watch list. Even the rest of the Suicide Squad cast, who were already enduring a film so bad it made Morbius look competent, wanted nothing to do with him. That's right, a movie where Will Smith and a CGI alligator man shared screen time, still somehow managed to agree that Jared Leto was the problem. Speaking of Morbius... Oh, Morbius. It's Morbin time. Leto doubled down on his whole I'm such a dedicated actor routine by insisting on hobbling to the bathroom on crutches between takes to stay in character. This process took so long that the production staff had to beg him to stop being a drama queen and just use a damn wheelchair so they could get through the workday. Think about that. It's like the anti-Rock. Jared Leto's method acting was so disruptive that a studio, a company that spent millions of dollars on a movie where he plays a vampire who looks like he just discovered Hot Topic, had to step in and say enough. Now, if Leto's Hollywood antics were the worst thing about him, we could all just write him off as an obnoxious pseudo-intellectual with a god complex. Not out of place in Hollywood. But no, because...
By the way, guys, you know the way they could have done Morpheus? They could have done an easy story with one of the Spider-Man villains. Any villain at that point. They could have literally done something with them instead of, like, Morpheus by himself. Because, again, the Morpheus is not a character you could do a character by himself. If they had the rights to Blade, then that would have been a better film. Let's be honest. If they had Blade and Morpheus, like the rights to Blade and all that, like they did back in the day, or was that no, that was Fox. Then yeah, they would have something very special, Morpheus and Blade, right? But like I'm pretty sure Spider-Man characters, there's some Spider-Man characters that Sony owns that has like a more of a dark tone, like Tombstone or something like that. They could have done something like that, honestly. But
Jared Leto just had to go ahead and rack up years worth of allegations that make his method acting stunts seem downright charming by comparison. For well over a decade, accusations have surfaced about Leto's, let's say, highly questionable behavior with young women, some allegedly as young as 16.
Do you need
What?
a free, easy way to capture your
Yo, what
gameplay?
are you, Imran? How's it going?
Introducing Outplayed. Record anything on your PC.
Back in 2005, the New York Post called him a serial texter of underage models, which is a really polite way of saying this guy should probably be investigated. But did Hollywood care? Nope. Do they ever? Nope. Instead, they handed him an Oscar. In 2018, actor Dylan Sprouse outright called him out on Twitter, questioning his well-documented habit of DMing 18 to 25-year-olds like a middle-aged divorcee on Tinder. James Gunn jumped in, implying that Leto's preferences might skew even younger, and the response?
What?
Absolute silence. Because, you know, Hollywood only cares about justice when it's convenient. Then in 2022, the internet had another, wait, why are we still letting this guy be famous moment, when a photo surfaced of him with then 19-year-old Olivia Rodrigo. And suddenly people were remembering all the years of rumors, allegations, and deeply unsettling stories about him. Did anything happen? Of course not. Jared Leto has somehow achieved that weird invincible status where he's famous enough to dodge accountability, but not quite famous enough for people to actually like him. As if his acting crimes and alleged real-life crimes weren't enough, Jared Leto also runs a
Do you guys like Jared Leto movies,
no, I'm being
guys?
serious. In
I don't remember
2019, Leto and his band 30 Seconds.
The only Jared Leto film that I remember of him is pretty much the Suicide Squad, which is not like good, not good at all. Like I don't remember anything about Jared Leto's like his movies and all that. You know, like, and yeah, 30 Seconds to Mars. I'm telling you guys, listen to that band. They were one of the worst bands out there with a mid hit song, one song. That's it.
to Mars started hosting Mars Island retreats, where fans paid thousands of dollars for the privilege of being in his self-important, robe-wearing, Messiah-like presence. The band even went so far as to tweet,
cult,
yes,
dude.
This
it's
is
a cult.
because apparently even their PR team has given up on subtlety. So what
yes,
do you
this
get
is a cult.
when you attend Mars Island? Exclusive concerts, yoga sessions, and the chance to worship a man who probably refers to himself in the third person. It's the kind of event that sounds like it should end in an FBI raid, and yet people actually pay for this. If nothing else, it proves that Leto's one true talent is separating gullible people from their money. Now, if you were still holding out hope that maybe Leto's biggest crime was being a pretentious douche, well, I have bad news. In 2024, during a concert in Belgrade, Leto made headlines for casually suggesting that he'd love to perform in Russia again, once all those problems are finished. Yes, nothing like referring to a brutal war with mass casualties as those problems. Ukrainian officials were understandably furious, calling his remarks an insult to the people fighting for their country. But don't worry, Leto didn't apologize because, you know, why start now? So how does a guy like Leto still have a career? How has he managed to survive Hollywood scandals, an onslaught of...
He doesn't apologize. That's why he survives. He doesn't let anybody bully him. You know what I mean? He doesn't let anybody bully him to submit, to, I guess, quote unquote, submit. He has a cult following. He could do whatever the fuck he wants. At this point, it's insane. And I gotta give him credit. At one point, it's like he does not apologize. I think once you apologize, it opens the floodgate of like things just go haywire with your, I guess, quote unquote, career, right? Like Rachel, right? You know, like how like she changed her tone about the film. All of the classic is awesome, etc. People already know they were bullshitting. People already know that she was bullshitting, dude. Like, people already knew.
Of allegations and a movie so bad it became a meme twice? Well, the answer's simple. Hollywood is allergic to holding the right people accountable. The entertainment industry loves nothing more than selective outrage. If Leto were an easier target, less famous, less marketable, or had fewer rich friends, he would have been blacklisted faster than you can say Morbin time. Ooh, got it in twice. But instead, he keeps getting away with it. He'll keep making terrible movies, he'll keep luring fans into his pseudo-cult, and he'll keep method acting his way into being the most exhausting person in Hollywood Hollywood. The worst part,
My
he'll
favorite actor,
probably win
guys.
another Oscar someday, and the industry will just pretend like none of this ever happened. And that, folks, is unfortunately how Hollywood really works. GG's.
Oh my god. It's not just Hollywood, by the way. It's not just Hollywood. It's also content creators. Look at what DJ Academics is doing fine right now. Look at Dr. Respect. He's doing fine, even though his was like, you know, what came out with that. Like that's just the way it works. Like at this point, if you get enough fans, like if you're like a big content creator, right? If you gain enough fans, you're almost uncancelable for the most part, right? Especially if you're already a douchebag from the beginning. Like legit, you're literally uncancelable at that point for the most part. Yep, it's just how the world works. It's just how the world works, guys. All right, I think we're done with this piece, guys. All right, cool. We're done for now. Like I said, off stream, guys. Oh, wait, man, the video.